Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
This is a well-known verse, at least among the followers of Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada often quoted this verse. Nowadays we don't hear these verses quoted so much. Nowadays we hear more of the Gopi Leelas and so many things. But Prabhupada was speaking these verses. There are many verses in the Bhagavatam which many so-called pundits of Bhagavatam, they're hardly aware of them. Prabhupada, these first few verses of the second canto, spoken by Shukadeva Goswami, Prabhupada often, so many times quoted. Asat Sainya, this term. Fallible soldiers, Prabhupada has translated. Asat, the term Sat and Asat, they can be translated in so many different ways. Here Prabhupada is translated as fallible soldiers. If you want to hear, maybe you should come and sit here, because you can't hear anything from there, isn't it? Fallible soldiers. Asat. Asat means, one of the meanings is that which is temporary. Just like we have in Gita. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sataha. Na sato, na asata. That which is asat, it does not continue to exist by its very definition. Means that which is temporary has no continued existence. It's an axiomatic statement. And na bhavo vidyate sataha. That which is real or permanent, that never comes into existence. It always exists, nor does it have any destruction. So asat here is used in the sense of temporary. So the asat sainya, deha patya kalatradeshu, deha apatya, that literally means that which falls down from the body. So the semen that falls from the male body, and then the santan, the child, falls down from the female body, that is a child, as one dehot patya, similar, it's interesting, apatya, word for children, and then kalatra is a word for wife. There are so many words in Sanskrit for wife. So here the word is being used, kalatra. And adishu, everything which expands from this. Another word for wife is stri, which gives the indication that which makes vistar, that which increases the material condition. So that is suggested later in the Bhagavatam by Rishabdev, when he says that from the stri pum, male and female attraction, ato griha kshetra sutapta vitayar, then there expands. When there is a wife, then you need a home. You need some land. Previously, home didn't mean sitting on the 23rd story of a high-rise building in some little pigeonhole. But home meant there was some house and at least some little land. At least you would grow your own vegetables. Everyone, even in the Western countries, everyone would grow their own at least their own vegetables, daily requirement. And flowers, because everyone required flowers for puja. Now we get flowers from the market. They're already old. They're already unusable. Even when we don't have fresh flowers. So, ato griha kshetra suta. Suta means son, and suta means daughters. And apta means kutumba, Sutta Mitra Ramani Samaja, society, friendship and love, means our extended family. Family also, when we say family, nowadays family means hum do hamare do, or hum do hamare ek. But previously family meant so many, mama, mami, kaka, kaki, and so many different words. I don't even know them all. You know them all. For the Western mind, it's difficult to accommodate all these different terms. So, and then society, friends, status, position, so many things. And vitta, money, very important. Money is sweeter than honey in materialistic life, it's considered. So, janasya moho yamahamma meti. These increase the illusion, all these different attachments. We think that I am secure in this position, just like we often hear the term that, or you'll see in the marriage advertisement, well settled. Well settled. That means you're well settled in a hole, caught up, tied up. Of course, you become fully well settled when you get a wife, and then you're completely settled. So that means well settled. So you're settled in your position. So you think, now I'm well settled. I have my asat sainya. I have all my fallible soldiers to protect me. I have my wife, my home, my job, my career, my degree, my bank balance, my dog, all the necessary accoutrements of modern life. You have a microwave oven to make sure you get cancer, and so many different modern facilities. So these are considered well settled. But no, this is the illusion. You are thinking, now I am well settled. But death will come and kick you out. You can't you see, I have a PhD degree. So don't kill me, death. Or, as Prabhupada gave that example many times. There was one acquaintance of his in Allahabad. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is this hope against hope? No. Okay. There was one acquaintance of his in Allahabad, because Prabhupada is in the pharmaceutical line. So he used to know about all the rogis, all the sick people. So he was begging the doctor, you please give me 4 years more life. I have so many plans I have to complete. But that term is there, cruel death. There's a saying, time and tide wait for no man. So also death. If you say that, I just have so many different plans I want to complete. Please extend my life. The doctor said, that is not possible. So this is the illusion. Asat sainya. We think we shall be protected. But there is no protection. People, this has been discussed in the previous verse, they are persons who are devoid of Atma Tattva. They spend their lives, that is described in the previous verse, Nidraya ahriyate nattam vyavayena chabhavaya. At night time, they are either sleeping or engaging in sexual activities. And divacharteha rajan kutumba bharanenava. And daytime, working very hard to support the family members. And they think that by doing so, I shall remain well settled and everything will be alright. But because they are devoid of Atma Tattva, they do not see inevitable death. They see, here it is mentioned, Pashan api, they see but still. Pashan api na pashyati, they don't see. Because they are pramattaha. Tesham pramata. Here Prabhupada is translated pramata as being too much attached. Although the literal meaning is mad, insane. Nunam pramata kurute vikarma yad indriya pritya aprinoti nasadhu manye yata atmanoyam nasanna pikleshada asadeha. Rishabdev uses the same words, that certainly people are mad who perform sinful activities for the sake of sense enjoyment. They do not, again the same thing, they do not see that they will have to get another body. Because of their sinful activities, they will have to get another body to suffer as they are suffering now. The same word, asat. They're engaged in asat activities. Asat means also that which is not pertaining to the soul. So pramataha literally means insane. Here Prabhupada has translated as being too attached, because the two things are the same. One who is too much attached to his bodily situation is certainly insane. That is discussed in the Gita also. All these things go together. These 6 symptoms of material condition, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, they all go together. Lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, madness, they all go together. One follows the other. That is why Krodh, anger, is described as Kamanuja, the younger brother of Kam. Because after lust comes anger, it follows, and therefore it's sometimes poetically described as Kamanuja. So all these, they come together. At first, Dhyato Vishayan Pumsang Sangasteshu Pajayate. By meditating on the sense objects, one develops attachment. Sangasteshu Pajayate. Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. So from attachment, the desire to enjoy. One thinks of the sense objects, then he desires to enjoy them. And Kamat Krodho Vijayate. Then from the desire to enjoy, anger naturally comes, because either one's sensual desire is fulfilled, but he still remains unsatisfied, therefore he becomes frustrated. Or his desire is not fulfilled, so either way he becomes frustrated. So, krodhat bhavati sammoha, when from anger one is bewildered. That we can see practically. That when someone is angry, he forgets everything. He may kill his family members. He may do something which he wouldn't normally do, because moha, that means that which covers the intelligence. Sammoha. That's why we see, just like Prabhupada, sometimes he would become angry. But that is transcendental anger. He would not become bewildered. He wouldn't lose his intelligence. Rather, the anger was a manifestation of his intelligence to correct his unintelligent disciples. So, krodhat bhavati sammohat, sammohat smriti vibhramaha. When we lose our power of discrimination, smriti bhramshat buddhi nasho, then intelligence is lost. And buddhi nashat pranashyati, and then our whole situation is spoiled. So, this asakti, attachment, material attachment, and insanity, they're practically synonymous. They all go together. To be too much materially attached is insane. That's why Prabhupada, is that here? He refers to the insanely attached householders. I believe it's somewhere in this section. He refers to insane. It's insane. We're attached to our home. Sometimes we see, it's quite often you see that someone, he comes home after the child has been away at college for a long time, and he comes home and the mother starts crying, and they all start crying because they're insanely attached. Prabhupada gave the example that so many children are walking in the street, but you feel attachment. This is my child. If someone else's child gets run over by a car, then if your own child gets run over, then because you're attached, even though qualitatively the Atma in the body of the child, it's the same in everyone, but we feel attached because this is my child, we're thinking. So by illusion, we take this to be reality. This is my wife, this is my child, this is my home, this is my country, this is my job, this is my identification. I'm PhD, Brahmin, CEO, so many identifications we put on ourselves. But our real identification is Atma, servant of Krishna. But forgetting that, we identify with the body and everything in relationship with the body. And therefore we suffer repeated birth and death. It's very simple to understand. But material attachment is very, very deep and strong, very difficult to overcome. It's relatively easy to speak about it. Most people don't even like to speak about it. Even most so-called devotees, they don't even like to speak about it. They say, oh yes, we know this. Let's talk about Gopi Lila. But they're trying to talk about the highest spiritual platform, but actually to come up and off the material platform, we're practically seeing it's not very easy. Unless there is Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusham Param. Unless there is very strongly practiced devotional service, it's very difficult to get free from material attachments. That's why we see sometimes devotees, even after many years of practicing Krishna consciousness, that they fall down or they don't appear to be making much progress. Why is that? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave the example, well-known story of the wedding party, where they went in a boat at night. They were supposed to be traveling by boat. In Bengal it's very common to go, especially in East Bengal, there are so many rivers. So people go here and there by boat. So they were traveling at night because it's hot in the day. So they just at sunset, they got into the boat. The family got into the big boat, and in the morning they were supposed to reach. So they all went to sleep, and in the morning they woke up and they saw the sun is rising and they're in the same place. How is that? Boatman said, I've been rowing all night. Oh, I forgot to take up the rope. We're still tied to the shore. So in the same way, if we are tied up by the desire for sense gratification, if we don't lift that up, then we may go through the motions of devotional service. We may be having Shravanam, Kirtanam, but the heart will not become purified unless we have a very strong motive to become purified. Therefore, it is required that we practice Krishna consciousness very strongly, very seriously. A half-hearted effort won't help us. Just like the airplane goes up in the sky, but it has to get sufficient speed, otherwise it won't go up. Otherwise it can just go round and round on the runway. It's moving, but it's not going anywhere. So in the same way, we have to practice Krishna consciousness very strongly. Strongly means with the desire to be free from these material attachments. Otherwise, we may practice Krishna consciousness, but we won't get enough thought to go up and out of the material atmosphere. In this regard, there's one story which I heard related many years ago. Must have been late 1970s or early 1980s by Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Now, I haven't seen this in any Shastra, but it's a very interesting story, and I'll therefore relate it as it is. It's relevant in this regard that Narad Muni was once visiting Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha, and Narad Muni said to Narayan that, "You've seen, there are so many of your devotees on earth, they're worshipping you very seriously. So why don't you bring them to you? They're praying to you, give me moksha, let me come to your lotus feet. So why don't you bring them? You have stated in Bhagavad-gita that you are the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death of your devotees." So Lord Narayan said, "I'm delivering them, whoever wants to come, but most of them don't actually want to come." So Narad Muni said, "I can't believe this. You see, there are so many devotees praying very sincerely." So Lord Narayan said to Narad Muni then, "All right, you go and bring any one of them. You see anyone, and you ask them to come immediately." Narad Muni said, "Very good, I'll clear the whole world out. There's so many praying to Lord, you see. You go to Tirupati, people are calling out, 'Govinda, Govinda.' So many people are going to the temple, you see. Praying very sincerely." So Narad Muni came and he found one man every morning, he's doing puja 3 hours, ringing the bell, chanting shlokas and Vishnu Sahasranam. And he's praying out to the Lord, "Hey Bhagavan, deliver me from this Maya. Take me to your lotus feet," ringing the bell. So Narad Muni appeared. "Oh, Narad Muni, you've come. How wonderful." Narad Muni said, "Yes, I've come to fulfill your desire. I just came from Lord Narayana, and he's listened to your prayer, and he's ready to deliver you. So come with me and we'll go to Lord Narayana." He said, "Oh, how wonderful. But you know what? My son's got his exam coming up. I'm tutoring him. I have to help him get through his exam. So, I have a few responsibilities. So, you're so kind and merciful. You've come to deliver me, but, just let me help my son pass his exam." "Okay. I'll come back after a little time." So then again, after some time, he came back, and then the man's ringing his bell. "Oh Lord Narayana, you're so merciful. Please deliver me from this Maya." And Narad Muni came and said, "Okay, now I've come to deliver you." He said, "You know what? Now my son's got his marriage just coming up. See, it would be, everyone would be very disappointed if I died right now. So, it's not auspicious right now. So, let my son just get his marriage over, and then after some time I'll come with you." So again, Narad Muni went away. He came back after some time, and he saw him praying, "Oh Lord, deliver me from this Maya," and there's a little baby there also. And he's saying, "Goo, goo, 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 ga, 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 ga. Oh Lord, deliver me from this Maya." Narad Muni came and said, "Hey, you're really in Maya. Your son had a baby, right? You're really attached to him." He said, "Yes. Let me train him up as a good Vaishnava. Then I'll come with you later." So he came back a little time. Of course, Narad Muni is a busy sannyasi, so by the time he came back, he found that his father was no longer doing the puja. His son was doing the puja. He said, "What happened to your father?" He said, "Well, he passed away." So Narad Muni looked around. He saw there's one dog there with some little puppies. And by his spiritual vision, he recognized that one of the puppies, it was the previous devotee. He said, "Look, now you're really in Maya. You're really gone in a bad position." He said, "No, but you see, I'll go with you, but you see, still the babies are young, and now I'm a dog, so I can help protect them. There are many snakes here, so let me protect." You say, "I have some family duties also. I want to be liberated, but let me just finish my family duties." So next time he came back and he found him as a cockroach in the outhouse. He said, "Well, let me deliver you now." He said, "Well, if I don't eat this stool, then all the people will get sick." So then he went back to Narad Muni. Or do we want Maya? You can't have both. Actually, to some extent you can. It's called in the Grihastha ashram, there is some license for sense gratification. But license means under restriction, for the sake of purification. License doesn't mean it's an unlimitedly stretchable elastic band. You can stretch it. It's like you have a driving license. Driving license means that you're authorized to drive. That doesn't mean you're allowed to drive at 90 kilometers an hour on the wrong side of the road through the busy section of the bazaar where there are so many people walking on the road. License means that you're allowed to drive under certain rules and regulations because you're considered responsible to do so. But intrinsically, the desire for sense gratification, it is opposite to that for self-realization. Therefore, even in family life, although there is a small license for sense gratification, actually the family life must be centered on Krishna and Krishna consciousness. Otherwise it's just hell. Family life without Krishna in the center is, not only is it hellish, but it causes repeated hellish birth and death. So we should hear these things. It's very important to hear. If we don't hear, we'll be hearing Gopi Leela and thinking, "Oh yes, that's just like me and my wife." We'll misunderstand. We'll take Krishna to be an ordinary person. Therefore the next verse, the conclusion of this powerful introduction by Shukadeva Goswami. He came in, we've heard the expression, in like a needle and out like a plow. But Shukadeva Goswami comes in like a plow and continues like a plow all the way, destroying all the material desires, uprooting the material. Plow means that you prepare the land for sowing the seeds. That's why we say Balaram, he helps us in becoming, he gives us spiritual strength. Achyuta Bala, Krishna and Balaram. So Krishna has Balaram has the plow as the weapon, Haladha, Halayuddha. So the plow that clears the land, takes up all the weeds and makes it suitable for cultivation. So similarly, Balaram, he is the original Guru. Guru is supposed to represent Balaram. We get strength from Balaram, and he also removes the bad things so that we can properly cultivate Krishna consciousness. We cannot properly cultivate Krishna consciousness if we are harboring within our hearts lust, greed, anger, material attachments, all these things. So Shukdev Goswami, he didn't flatter Parikshit Maharaj. He spoke the truth that these material attachments have to be given up. Then we can properly come to the point which will be described in the next verse. Tasmat harata sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Parihi Shrotavya Kirtitavya Smartavya Chechakavayam. Therefore, this is tomorrow's verse, which we shall discuss tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Is there any question about this?
were discussing about attachment. The whole family life is actually, as the family life starts, attachment also starts.
Yeah.
And then it grows up, then attachment also grows up. So the point is, the objective is to be detached. Then it seems very...
Family life means attachment. Yet, spiritual life means to be detached from material enjoyment. Therefore, in family life, one should regularly hear, especially from those who are detached. If a householder is reluctant to hear such topics, then he has no hope for purification. Householder, that's why the Vedic system is the Varnashram system. Sannyasis. That's, what's that? Nanda Maharaj says to Garga Muni when he comes to his home. Griheshu Dina Chetasa. You have come to uplift us who are in family life and have fallen or very low consciousness. So that also Shukdev Goswami had said, Samsarinam Karunaya, is very merciful to the samsaris. So that is the duty of the sannyasis, to move among the householders and uplift them. And that is why also one reason the householders, they're supposed to be very respectful to the sannyasis. Respectful means they have to listen to what they say. And sannyasi should not flatter the family members. Rather, he should speak the truth, which they have to hear. Otherwise, without hearing that, how is one to become detached? Therefore, the system is that in householder life, one hears, and then he also gradually becomes detached by taking up vanaprastha. Or even in family life, one should practice detachment. You should follow rules and regulations, and then certain vratas like Ekadashi vrata, Chaturmasya vrata, they're also followed by sannyasis, but in many ways they're more important for the grihastas, who can therefore practice some detachment. Without that, then family life is simply pathway to hell. Therefore, we find that traditionally that householders, that was the Varnashram system. They were very pious, and family life means you get up in the morning and you do your puja, and in the evening also you do puja or you hear. So that was there, but also listening, hearing from and associating with detached sannyasis, that is required. Otherwise you may be doing your puja, but remaining attached. Sannyasi also, if he's not properly cultivating sannyas life, he may be also cultivating attachment to my home, my means this is my bhajan kuti. Prabhupada mentions that a sannyasi may be attached to the few things he has. But he said that, Prabhupada wrote that, but that attachment is not as strong is not as binding as that in material life. Sorry, not as binding as that of householders. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.